Welcome to the Best Boys Anime Podcast. We are on episode 11. My name is Craig.
And I'm Jake.
And this week we are doing our top manga recommendations. So we are going to be discussing the manga that we like, the manga that we feel like, at least today, we would most recommend to people. I've done some fairly big research on this, but Jake reads a hell of a lot more manga than I do. Yeah. So I imagine Jake's going to have a lot more to say on this one than me. But yeah, it's been great. Just got a few things to say before we start.
Yeah.
Thank you to everybody who has listened to us and everyone we've met recently. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for everyone who liked all the stuff that I put on social, to the Instagram and things and TikTok. And yeah, it's just really good. I got a few things to cover before we start.
Go on.
Right. We had a watch party. Watch party.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
Last
we had our
Wednesday.
Discord watch party. It was really good.
Yeah, we watched Ponyo.
We watched Ponyo. So every Wednesday we have a Discord now, and we're going to jump in, watch a movie, just hang out and just, try and socialize with like a movie on in the background, streaming, and yeah, it was really good. So thanks for everybody who joined the Discord watch along. If you want to join, I will put a link near us. I will put a link in the bio or whatever. We are going to be watching Pokemon 2000. I think. Yeah, we're going to be on Wednesday. So if anybody wants to join, we'll have the link available somewhere, and we'll just hang out and chat in text or chat in voice and just chill.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty good. I'm going to be leading this one. So Jake, how about you to start us off with a...
Well, before we start, would you like to bring up our latest upgrade?
Oh yeah, we've got what you'll be seeing now is not a green screen. It will be a background, but I have learned to edit in. So if you're a YouTube listener, the production value is like going up each episode. We now have a green screen. So we should be...
We're very excited about it.
We are very excited about this. We should be in some sort of location.
We haven't decided yet, but we're going to play around with it.
I've been collecting backgrounds. I've been collecting stuff for it, so... Yeah, I'm very excited. I even found the DVD looping logo and stuff to put in there. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
If you're an audio listener, I really recommend watching us on YouTube if you can, just because I'm enjoying fucking around with all this other stuff. So yeah, it's the same name. The link to the YouTube's and on the Spotify profile or whatever you're listening to, it'll all be there. So. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you could help us out, that's another thing I've been meaning to. We need to start asking if you can help us out and like and subscribe or share or whatever. That'd be great.
Yeah, even just commenting.
Yeah,
feedback would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, we always appreciate feedback. So, right, let's crack on with the podcast.
Let's hit it off. Okay.
What is your first manga recommendation?
My first manga recommendation. Oh, let's have a look through my list here. I am going to recommend, first of all, Dungeon Meshi, which is also known as Delicious in Dungeon.
That shit is a great manga.
Yeah, you read some of that as well, right?
I've only read... You bought the first volume.
Yeah.
You bought the first volume. I read the first volume.
Yeah.
Then I read like another 10 or 20 chapters online, and I stopped reading it there, but it is like so good. Give us the pitch on Dungeon Meshi.
If there's any of my mangas that deserves an anime, it's that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I think one thing I like about it straight off the bat is it's not an isekai. Mm-hmm. It could easily be an isekai, but it's not. It's just set in a fantasy world, which I prefer.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need someone getting hit by a bus to start my story. If it's set in a fantasy world, just start in the fantasy world.
You don't need Truck Kun.
Yeah. I don't need to hear about how sad this dude's life is before he gets reincarnated as a middle-aged woman,
In a convenient location where you're now actually super
super cool.
Yeah, super cool. Where these skills that were shit in our life are now super useful where I am. Yeah.
So yeah, it just starts in a fantasy world straight out the bat. It's just there, it's a one where there's a dungeon, that sort of shtick where everyone's racing to get to the end of the dungeon and defeat whatever's at the base of it.
Yeah, and one of the main characters' sisters got ate by a dragon or something.
Yeah, in the first couple of pages, she gets eaten by a dragon. But the dungeon in that works weird.
Yeah.
Where if you die in the dungeon, your soul is trapped in the dungeon and you can be sort of reanimated so long as they find like enough of your body and enough of your soul.
Yeah, they need your remains, don't they?
Yeah.
So they're trying to find the dragon to get her sister's remains back.
Yeah, that bit's like quite a sort of weird, dark bit of the story, isn't it?
Why?
Because there's just people like there's parties like dungeon delving that just have their remains of their like friends and stuff.
Yeah.
That they're just waiting to meet somebody who like has magic that can reanimate them.
Yeah, because they're just carrying around like
They'll just carry a skeleton, in like their backpack, and it's just their mate that they're waiting to bring back to life.
It gets really like it's really weird that because it's super like
it's like
comfy.
a light-hearted comedy kind of story, but in parts of it you're like, woo.
Yeah, you get really like comfy with it. You get really comfortable with it, and then they're like, oh. Like the whole point it's called it Delicious in Dungeon is that it's really about cooking.
It's a cooking manga.
Yeah, it's a cooking manga based in a fantasy world where they're in a dungeon trying to like find stuff to eat.
Yeah, they don't have enough money to buy supplies, so they kill and eat monsters instead.
Yeah, so they show you like they'll be like, oh, there's some really cool mushrooms there, and they'll just be waddling around, and then they'll just cut the mushrooms straight in half and kill them and make a stew, and you're like. Oh, all right. Like they just go around killing shit and eating it, which is the whole point of the manga. They eat like they get attacked by a armored knight.
The living armor.
The living armor, and what it actually is a slime like controlling
weird mollusk things, isn't it?
Yeah. And when they take it apart, they eat the slime from inside of it and like make food out of it, and it's like. It gets a bit fucked up, but I really like it.
It's a really fun manga. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. So we'll have had a few panels up in the background as we're talking.
Yeah, all the characters are really good. It's good adventure. It's like fun sort of cooking. It's quite funny. Yeah, I really enjoy it. Really
I would rate it. I think that's a really good recommendation. And a lot of these mangas you can find online if you look.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to buy them. It's just you know.
I like to buy the first couple volumes to support the like. Authors, but most of them I just read online.
I always recommend buying them if you like them, but there's so much manga out there and it's so easy to get a hold of that it's like why would you
you don't need to.
So I've got one. I've got a few like recommendations that we've spoke about before, but I'm just going to put them out there just because I would bring them up and I like them anyway. Just to run through them quick. Shaman King, the art's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Really good story. Spoke about that before. The new anime shit, read the manga or watch the old anime.
Well, it ends different in the manga and the anime, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know the ending.
Yeah, you've never read the manga. So.
I've never read the manga. Well, I'm halfway through reading the manga because I was buying the books because I really like them. But then there's like book 17, which is like 50 quid. And I need to get back on that. I would recommend Blame. There's not much to say about Blame other than it's gorgeous. The story's a bit... It's really hard to describe, but Blame is well worth a read. So I would recommend Blame. And I feel like I've spoke about it before, but Tokyo Ghoul.
Tokyo Ghoul, really nice looking manga.
Really, the first half of Tokyo Ghoul. Gorgeous, story's amazing. Love the characters. Like it shits the bed in the second half, but yeah, when it becomes
a lot of mangas do.
Tokyo Ghoul RE.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tokyo Ghoul RE is like
not so hot,
but yeah, strong.
Still looks good,
Ghoul.
but just the story gets a bit messy, doesn't it?
Yeah,
bit convoluted.
Yeah, the art's incredible though. The art is like the guy's art is gorgeous.
Oh yeah,
and the ending of Tokyo Ghoul, the first half is just like. Oh, and like I was reading it chapter by chapter when it was coming out and like discussing on Reddit, and the guy planned everything.
Oh yeah, he's a wizard, isn't he?
Like the guy is a genius, and you can go back and see him like there's foreshadowing for like events that happen like 100 chapters later, and you'll go back and you'll be like, holy fuck.
He did that. They released the Tokyo Ghoul calendar, and he'd like planned events to happen on month pages, didn't they?
Yeah. So yeah, he had planned his manga to such a degree, at least the first half, that when they released the calendar, each calendar had an image with it, and the images throughout the calendar probably didn't mean much on their own. But when you read the manga, the days of the calendar related to what was happening in the story. So he planned that a year in advance.
Yeah.
Planned it a fucking year in advance. That's incredible. So,
yeah, the guy really planned it out well.
It's just unreal. So yeah, I would recommend those three. Those are my three short ones. I think the one that I'm going to go for as my next real recommendation is Akametsu.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Akametsu
is fucking sick.
Yeah.
Story-wise... Akametsu is about a guy who seems to do like political assassinations and like high damage, like high risk, high reward work for killing and people. But when he dies, he always just appears again.
Yeah.
Like, there's always just more of him.
I didn't read it all, so I never really figured out what was going on with him. But yeah, like the bits I read, it's super brutal. It's really good.
It's so gory.
Yeah.
It's so fucking great. But like, I feel like with today's political climate, people could probably read it.
Could get into it, yeah.
People could really get into it, yeah. Yeah, I think Akametsu's just like some next level shit. Like, I read it ages ago and I remember reading the ending and it just being totally like, satisfying. It was just a good manga, like from beginning to end. And it helps that it looks fucking amazing.
Looks good.
It's just fucking brilliant. So, yeah, I would strongly recommend Akumetsu.
I've forgotten all about Akametsu, to be fair. That's a really good shout.
Yeah, lad. Yeah. So you read a bit, didn't you?
I read a bit, yeah. I might go back to it.
Yeah, I read it ages ago, but I'm down for a reread. So, yeah. What about you? Do you want to do your next recommendation?
Oh yeah, let's have a look. So I also have Tough, which is a martial arts manga, very similar to the likes of Kengan and Baki. It's sort of, I don't know when it was written, but it feels a bit earlier, like it was done in the 80s. It's got that sort of 80s vibe around it.
Is Tough not that one about the woman then that we watched
No.
a YouTube video about? Okay.
No, Tough is it's very, very wacky and I love it.
Right, what's it actually about then? Is it not just martial arts?
It's martial arts, but it's like the main character is the son of like, he's like the heir to a specific style of karate, which is called like the life and death karate.
Right.
And it just gets like ridiculous to the point where they like, the bad guy looks like a villain, like he wears a black trench coat all the time and has like slick back hair. There's a bit where they have like a tournament in a forest and everyone like, it's like a battle royale and he's just driving a Lamborghini around in a forest.
What, is this the bad guy?
This is the bad guy.
Right, okay.
And then just jumps out of it and has like, he's got like little acupuncture needles in his belt buckle and he's just running around stabbing people in the forest.
What the fuck? So it's not serious like the others?
Like, it is serious, but it's like in a very weird, goofy way.
Like goofy, like incredibly serious, but what is going on is like
the martial arts are like, they really, really take it to the extreme and it's just really fun to read through.
That sounds fucking amazing.
It's really
You've
good.
recommended that to me before, actually.
I have,
Duff,
yeah.
There's so many manga that you've been like, you should really read this. And I'm like, no. For people who don't know me, getting me to do anything, not so much now, but used to be, I don't know why, but when people told me to do stuff, I just like, no. And the more you tell me to do it, I'm going to do it less.
Easier to find chicken teeth and
Yeah.
talk you into anything.
And convince me to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've sort of given up recently and now I am taking people's recommendations. So yeah, I will check Tough out.
Tough is really fun.
What's the art like?
Like I said, it's sort of got like an 80s feel to it. It's like that older style. You will like it.
I love 80s.
You love that sort of stuff, yeah.
Is it the chunky eyes, the chunky hair?
They've all got like big square heads.
Oh, right, okay. They're like, because the 80s had really interesting art, because it went one of two ways, didn't it? It went JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Fist of the North Star,
Yeah, like really
hyper
big.
masculine, like super violent. Or it went incredibly effeminate, long wavy hair, big eyes, like shoujo sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I like them both. To be honest, I lean more towards shoujo these days.
Yeah.
I like the more wavy look. But anything in an 80s style
It really gets you going.
Really, yeah, I really like it at the
Yeah.
moment. So
Yeah, if you like martial arts, I would definitely recommend Tough as a manga. It's a very good one.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, I will check that out. Yeah, and I'm sure we'll put some up.
Sure, throw
Yeah,
some up
so
there.
as we're talking. My next one is fucking amazing. My next one is so good. Spy X Family.
Oh yeah, you've
God.
been telling me about this.
I can't shut the fuck up about it. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Like from beginning to end, the whole thing is like, there's a dude who's a spy, and it's set in sort of like 60s Berlin. He needs to. There's basically a guy who, like, that he needs to assassinate, and to get close to him, the guy's incredibly secretive, and only appears at school functions.
Yeah.
So there's a school that's incredibly prestigious. You have to be incredibly talented, wealthy. They have a whole bunch of tests for you to get in. And this guy's mission is to create a family, adopt a daughter and get her into the school, and then sort of train the daughter so that when he can become friends with this guy and eventually kill him, but also perform espionage. His wife is an assassin.
Okay.
Yeah, so his wife is an assassin, and she keeps that from him. And he keeps the fact that he's a spy from her. So they both meet, and like she's being suspected of being a spy because in 60s Berlin, like especially like closer to wartime, the Cold War was going on and there were spies everywhere. And the government's really clamping down. And the women at her workplace are like, oh, a woman your age and you don't never talk about a relationship. It's really weird. Like, are you sure you don't have another job? And she's like, oh shit, I have to fit in. And then she like bumps into him in a tailor's and like says, this is really weird, but I need you to marry me. She's like,
okay.
And he's like, she's like, I actually am looking for someone like for that reason. He's like, and he comes up with like some bullshit excuse and they get married. And at this point he's adopted a daughter. Yeah. And she's psychic and can read minds.
So you've got a spy, an assassin, and a girl who's psychic.
Yeah. And they're all keeping their secrets away from each other. Yeah. And obviously the little girl knows that one's a spy and one's an assassin.
So she knows everything.
Yeah. So she's trying to help them without them knowing that she's helping them. So she gets involved. And then they get a dog that can see the future, right? Yeah. Because he was part of some weird experiments. So technically the girl can see the future. Yeah. Because she reads the dog's mind.
Okay.
Yeah. So the whole thing's just fucking.
So they're
great.
just all sort of working in their own ways, but together.
Yeah, and they're all trying to like help each other. But the bit where it gets me is it gets to be like slice of lifey a bit. Yeah. And they start to slip into like, oh shit, I actually really like this.
It's just like they become a normal family almost. Yeah.
And the guy who's like the spy, like when he adopts the daughter, he sort of like slips into like an actual dad role. And like he thought he lays on the sofa and she lays on the sofa with him and he falls asleep and he's like, this is the first time I've let my guard down in like 8 years. Yeah. Yeah. And he's like, just
like panic.
Yeah. He panics because he's like, this girl's going to get me caught.
That sounds comfy.
But it's fucking great. And then like what I love about it is just that the action, the story is brilliant. And the slice of life is really good, and it's really funny as well. Yeah. So I actually think Spy X Family is one of my favorite manga.
Is it like up near the top at the minute? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I got obsessed with Vinland Saga, read all of that, and then like months passed, and then I got obsessed with Attack on Titan, read all of that. Spy X Family is my latest one, where it's just
the
like
big obsession. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sort of doing a what's it called? The school, the one I didn't finish because I like it too much.
Oh, Assassination Classroom.
Yeah.
You sort of don't want it to end.
I don't want to catch up, yeah, because it's still being released. But I got like more than halfway, and I don't really want to catch up because at that point it's a weekly wait. So I'm like, I read like 30 chapters and I think there's 30 more, and I'm giving it a bit of time just because like I'm still sort of like, it's so good. Just thinking about it and enjoying it. So yeah.
It's really enjoyable when you can just binge it, isn't it? Like rather than have to wait for it.
Yeah, I hate waiting. I hate waiting for anything, let alone like a weekly. You wait for 20 pages and you read it and you're like, God, that's so fucking good. And
you gotta wait 7 days for another 20 pages. Yeah.
You gotta wait for. That's why you end up having like 40 mangas on rotation when you're reading a lot of manga, because the weekly
just waiting for the weekly drops.
You need something like every day to read, otherwise you start just going mad, being like, it was worse than like waiting for Game of Thrones, like the new season of Game of Thrones. That shit was awful. But manga is like, I just death by 1,000 chapters.
Just waiting for it.
There's so much. Yeah.
And then your favorite one gets delayed by a week, and you're just like,
like when One Piece, like he has 2 or 3 weeks off, and you're just sort of lost.
What am I gonna do?
Well, I need to know what's happening though.
Yeah. So just a quick one for me. What I have been reading at the minute is the Dragon Ball Super manga.
Yeah, I told you to read this ages ago.
You did,
but you're further than I am now, because I haven't read it in ages. I bought the books, and the books are good. Yeah.
So I'm now past where the anime is. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah.
It's incredible.
It is.
And the anime Super is dog shit. They're two different stories.
They're different entities, aren't they?
Yeah, they're in totally different things, and they sort of like mix sometimes, I think.
Yeah, because in the manga they sort of like they brush over loads of stuff that they take ages to explain in the anime. Right, the whole like introducing Beerus in the manga, like, here's this dude, he's got a death. Goku had a fight, and now he can do God saying.
Yeah.
Like they just whip over it straight away. It takes like a page.
But he has his own movie. He gets introduced in Super. Mm-hmm. He's in everything. And yeah, they just take fucking forever, don't they? Yeah. The manga Dragon Ball is so much better than the anime now.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's really good. Yeah, I just finished the Morrow arc. And starting onto the sort of this is the latest arc. Like I've almost caught up.
Is it some old dude who's like a goat?
That's Morrow, yeah.
That's Morrow. Yeah. Right, okay.
Is it Morrow or Mero?
I don't know. I just know he exists.
Yeah, that guy's cool.
What's happening at the moment then? Or just give us a lowdown, like, why do you like it more than you know?
They introduced God Super Saiyan and all that sort of stuff, and I wasn't too really into that.
Yeah.
And then what they're doing at the minute is they've really sort of mixed up the old routine. Goku and Vegeta are training differently now. They've always just sort of it's always been an arms race for the both of them, hasn't it?
It has, yeah.
Super Saiyan, all right. Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan, like, they've just been neck and neck the whole way, just trying to race for the biggest power up. They both got to blue, which is sort of like as far as they're going to get a Super Saiyan form. So now they're training different things. Like, obviously, Goku's training for Ultra Instincts, and he's trying to master that.
Yeah.
And Vegeta's just gone a completely different route.
I like that. I really like that. Yeah.
Vegeta is so much more interesting than Goku at the minute.
Yeah, Goku's just sort of like, you know what you're getting, don't you?
Ultra Instinct, it's kind of cool, but it also gets boring really quick.
Yeah.
Because Goku's just sort of now I'll just dodge everything, nothing's a problem. Like once he masters it, it'll just be quite boring.
Well, he's too strong, isn't he, now?
Yeah, he's just too strong.
Who the fuck is he going to fight?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, whereas like Vegeta's been real. Yeah. He's learning lots of different techniques.
Vegeta's also an absolute lad.
He's like, a better character.
He is better, yeah. Like you said, he was slagging off the villain.
Yeah, he's doing some mad smack talking in the last arc.
It's just what you want, innit? You want some of their Goku's like, oh, let's have a good fight. And Vegeta's like, I'm going to fuck you and your mum. Yeah.
Goku's always on his bullshit as well, where he's like, oh, do you promise not to be bad anymore if I don't, like...
Vegeta's like, I will kill you. You're a bad guy. I'm gonna kill you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is what you want. I like a bit of spice. A bit of spice in these things.
A little mild spoiler. But yeah, there's a Goku. Not Goku. Vegeta is talking to the villain, and like he's like, right, I'm gonna fucking kill you now. Any last words? He's like, I'm gonna send you to hell. And the villain's like, yeah, but you think you're better than me? And he's like, no, I'm a fucking villain. I'm also going to hell, but you're going first in a bit.
Does he really? Yeah. He just knows. He knows. He's an arsehole.
Yeah, he knows. He's not trying to hide it from anyone. He's just doing his best to like make up for what he's done.
He's not he was a villain.
He's aware of that. Yeah. He hasn't forgotten. Like,
so is he still sort of like haunted by what he did for like Frieza and all the planets he's killed?
Yeah, like where I am in the manga at the minute, Beerus is telling him to get over it because it's like holding him back.
Fucking really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
They're actually addressing stuff that happened like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So wow, I'm really impressed.
So why Vegeta's a better character, because Goku is just like, I'm strong, whereas Vegeta is like, has real issues where they're like, you're being held back by your past and you need to let go of that, which is something everyone can relate to.
It's the same thing I was saying to you about why I think Sasuke is better than Naruto, and the same reason Killer was better than Gon. Like, but mind you, Gon in Hunter x Hunter is a special case because they both have their own bullshit. But most shonen, that guy,
the protagonist is just like the sort of like straightforward, simplistic character, isn't it?
Yeah. And Vegeta's the one. Then I didn't know it. Like, I always like it when they do this. They did it with Endeavor. They did it with Sasuke and Naruto. Now they're doing it with Vegeta. That hooks me in. It draws me. I come back for that. Yeah. And then they go back to how it was before, and I stop reading because I like growth. Like good manga is like a good story in general, not just manga. Is someone starts at a point A, and they end up at B, but you don't know where B is, and you need to see them go through whatever it is that gets them to B. You don't. If a story like. If it's a character-driven story, because sometimes you have like event-driven stories where you have characters that are dropped into a scenario and you see how they handle it. Whereas like character-driven stories, the story is about that person and how they deal with stuff. If you have a character-driven thing like Dragon Ball Z, having them stay the same is like you know what you're getting. There's no growth. There's nothing interesting. Goku now is still Goku from like the Cell Saga.
Yeah. He's not changed. Not changed at all.
He's not changed at all. Vegeta has changed massively. At one point he had a mustache.
Yeah, was that in GT?
It might have been in GT.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. I'll put a picture of Vegeta and a mustache right here. Yeah, but what you need is like it's why I like Tokyo Ghoul. Kaneki starts at A, and then he ends up at like
so much change happens.
so much changes, and that is what keeps me going. When you're like, oh fuck, how's he gonna deal with this? Oh, you see him like
It's the same with Vinland Saga, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Like Thorfinn changes a lot throughout of it.
Thorfinn, the anime finishes on a very sort of like frustrating but satisfying note. And when Jake was like, read the manga, you will not believe what happens next. And I was like,
What could it be?
what could you like?
What could possibly happen?
What could possibly happen? And then I've read like 100 chapters in 3 days, and they are long chapters as well. And I was just like, holy fuck, Thorfinn now is like a world away from the person he was, and he's dealt with his bullshit, and he like keeps getting put into like
People try him.
People try him, and he does not fucking like. The only thing that would concern me now is that if he stays how he is now, that's going to get boring. I don't know how long that could last. Like,
yeah, I sort of stopped reading it. It's sort of getting a bit stale.
Like, no sort of spoilers, but he goes more like a pacifist route, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like, it's interesting.
It was very interesting, but they sort of to move the story, they have to rely on other characters rather than the main character himself.
And I think what he needs is to come to some sort of resolution where he realizes, like, you know, life is all about moderation in it. You can never be, if you are entirely black or entirely white, both are just as bad as each other.
Yeah.
The more devout in something you are, usually the worse it gets. You can't be entirely something because otherwise it just ruins you as a person. Thorfinn was entirely black.
Yeah.
He's now entirely white. What you need is for him to sort of come to a compromise where he realizes, I used to kill a lot of people and it's not okay. But for me to live the life that I need, I'm going to have to kill some people. Don't go around murdering people, but as a last resort, you're going to have to kill someone.
Because some people need to die and get gone. You know?
I mean, some people need to be killed. Like, some people have to be killed. They just, especially back then.
Yeah.
Like, people, like, that's how you resolved everything.
Yeah, and in sort of the universe of that manga as well, there's a lot of bad people out there.
So I think, like, I'll catch up with Vinland Saga as well, but like Vegeta's interesting because like he's grey a lot, but he also goes black, white, black, white, black, white, black, white, grey, 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 black, white, black, white, grey, 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 grey. And you're like, what the fuck is going on with this guy? And that's what I need. I need a ebb and flow to keep me reading.
Yeah.
Attack on Titan did the same thing. The whole reason, well, that is more like you see a guy go from white to grey and then just keeps getting darker and darker and darker and darker.
Like,
and
stays in grey a while, then just woo!
And then it's just a slope down into straight pure black, and you are like, wee! Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I sort of took over that, so do you want to give us another one of yours?
Yeah, how about Ran and the Grey World?
You've recommended this to me as well.
I have.
Yes.
It's got witches in it, so you'll like it.
I love witches. Yeah.
Ran and the Grey World looks gorgeous. It looks like it's just like everyone looks like a patisserie. Everyone just sort of looks gorgeous in it,
like a cake, like a pudding.
Everyone just looks like a cake. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's very sort of flowy and just very nice. The art style is very, very good. That's based on a magical family.
Right. Okay.
And the main character is Ran, and she is a young girl. And her mum is like a very, very powerful witch, and she can't wait to like grow up and learn magic and just hang out with her mum and just be witches together. Basically, is the story.
Okay.
But they all have sort of different interesting magics, and it's just watching the family sort of just hang around. So it's very slice of life, but then like gets serious in places. It gets a bit weird in places.
In what way? Weird in what way?
So the main character, when she's got these pair of shoes that she likes, and when she puts them on, she gets like an older body. Yeah.
Right.
Like, she doesn't do anything weird, but obviously some people treat her differently because she's got like an adult's body. And that can be a bit weird because you know how old she is and they don't. So
she's catfishing them, but not intentionally.
Yeah, because she's just going about, because she wants to grow up. She's sort of like, there's a lot of kids out there that can't wait to grow up.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like that dealio. It's a little bit like, but it doesn't take over the story.
Does it get as bad as Dragon Maid?
It's nowhere near as bad as Dragon
so
Maid. Like, because it's not
manageable.
like forced. It's just sort of par for the course.
Yeah.
But yeah, the entire family is just really fun to sort of watch them go about their hijinks.
I'm always down for that. It's why I like Shin-Chan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Shin-Chan. That's a good anime. Just watch a few episodes. It's old as fuck, but it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to check out Running the Grey World.
Yeah. She's trying to learn to fly. That's like her primary goal.
Right.
And it's just her like sort of trying to shithouse together ways to fly. She like fills up a life prison like a Lilo thing. Mm-hmm. She like fills it with air and magic and tries to float on that, but then starts like slipping out of it. Like she's just always trying different ways to try and fly.
Do they actually can you just eventually learn through normal magic?
Like she's just trying too early. She's she's just in a rush.
Yeah. In a rush to grow up. Yeah. That sounds good.
Yeah.
That.
I mean, I want to talk about it more, but I also don't want to spoil the good bits. I'd like rather.
Yeah, you got as I'll always say, what's the art like? You're saying they're all just
gorgeous.
Like, other than being gorgeous, is it like the lines, the art, like is it all flowy or sharp or?
It's quite flowy and like very rounded. Like it's very very nice.
Okay, cool. I'll check that out. I like that stuff.
Yeah,
yeah.
Pop some images in there.
Yeah,
like,
chuck them in.
Yeah.
Did you ever play the game Blue Dragon?
No, but I used to see it and go, that looks like Goku.
Yeah, because it was designed by Akira Toriyama. They released a manga called Riogrado Blue Dragon.
Oh, yeah?
And it is really fucking good, and it's nothing like the game. So they still have the Blue Dragons, which are like stands, essentially.
Okay.
But the art is like really intricately detailed. I'm pretty sure it's done by the guy who did Death Note.
Okay.
Tsugumi Oba,
Yeah.
I think. And the story is just really sort of like... I remember reading it donkeys years ago, and I thought about it again when I was looking through my list. And it's just like incredible for the like. I can't entirely remember the story because I didn't check it. I should have done before we did this. But the way, you know, like sometimes you don't remember much about something, but you remember how it made you feel.
Yeah.
Like it's not the events in there that you enjoyed. You like left and were like, oh, like that's like you could think back and it gives me a warm feeling. That's what Riogrado does for me.
Oh, yeah?
Like, I think
Just
back to it, and
enjoy
I'm like,
the-
it was just very, very fun, very sort of like very nice. I think we're gonna have to take a dog break, aren't we? Because the dog is going mental.
He will not calm down.
He is not calming down at all. Right. So we'll come back in 2. Yeah. So we're back with the dog now because this guy just keeps freaking out.
Hey.
He hadn't done it before, but when we record recently, Toby just stands outside and barks.
Getting FOMO, isn't he?
He is. And now you're just in here, aren't you? You're always in here now.
Yeah.
So yeah, Riogrado, very worth a read. Very worth a read.
Very good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
So done by the guy who did Death Note.
Yeah, the art's incredible. He's done a lot of manga that isn't Death Note, you know.
Yeah, because Death Note is good, and it's like what he's mainly known for. But he is a really good artist.
I actually have one that's like a strong recommend as well.
Yeah.
Bakuman. Bakuman's also done by the guys who did Death Note.
The guy, the one about making a manga, right?
Yeah, it's one about making a manga. And like, I got halfway through. It was just really good. It really like it came out in Shonen Jump, which is the magazine where most of these mangas come out. But it was very real, like very very real. One of their uncles sort of dies from overwork and like doesn't really become famous, and like he was only known for gag manga. And like they get ill from overwork and like trying to become manga artists while also in school. Like it's incredible like how real it was, especially when you usually want like these magazines. Like the music industry does not tell you the gory details, does it? It doesn't tell you these long hours and how bad they treat these people. But this manga came out in a magazine that takes advantage of all these manga artists.
And they published it.
And it explicitly just shows the gory details and like how hard it is to get an editor that doesn't fuck up your story, and like how difficult it is to get on with management or getting paid, and like having all these other people who they have to contend with to stay popular, and like they get a manga and it gets cancelled. Like their first manga gets cancelled.
Oh, damn.
And they like most of the manga then becomes them trying to get into the magazine again by submitting like one shots and entering competitions and stuff and becoming popular enough
to
stay in, and they have to deal with a guy who's just like a genius, and he's like just seems to do it.
Is that the guy with the wings on his back?
Yeah.
I've seen like bits of it.
Yeah, and like how frustrating it is for them to be, which I like, is when you see people like that. You see a guy like who just seems to kill it from the off and doesn't take it very seriously, and they have to work so hard. Both
the hard work versus talent, like kind of thing.
Yeah, well, it's more like talent gets you so far, it can get you really far, but I feel like even people with talent end up having to work hard
eventually. Yeah,
that's like prodigy, like genius tier. Just like, how do you compete with someone who just is always good, just naturally? Yeah, and I really like that shit. So yeah, that sort of came out of there. But yeah, should we do one more, because we're sort of getting up to the time limit?
All right, I'll hit you up with the big one. Sengoku Youko.
Yes, you've been wanting to talk about
one of my
this.
favorites.
Yeah,
like really up there. It just it's hard to explain to sort of like get a good hook on it, because it's basically just about two siblings that are like half demon, half like, well, they're more like yokai. Sort of like, they're not demons, they're not really evil, they're just sort of
like
non-human, like half spirit, half human kind of. And it's just them going around, and they're trying to sort of bridge the gap between humans and yokai.
Sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah. Not that many people are keen about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's them going about doing their stuff, and they just sort of meet people. They gather a good cast, and then the story changes like halfway through. All the characters, like they're all like, the highlight of the main character has changed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just very good. I love all the characters. I love the art style, like the world it's set in. To me, I feel like it's one of the few mangas where I can say all the characters developed really well and it finished perfectly.
Really?
Most mangas just sort of like, you love them, you enjoy the ride, and the end they send kind of like don't scratch the final itch, do they? Like Naruto ended, and I was like,
I can't believe they just ended Naruto. Because like most manga, they get less popular, and then they get given like
a time slot to like,
you get 3 more chapters to end this story, which is why they all shit the bed, because they've just got to wrap.
They've got to just wrap it all up straight away.
Everything that's going on, they got to wrap it up. But
in like 60 pages.
Even Naruto got 5 chapters.
Yeah, which wasn't enough.
Which was not enough. Like they like Shonen Jump will fuck you over. Like Naruto was one of the most popular manga for 20 plus years, 15 years.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah, and then it got less popular, and they were like 5 weeks.
Right, and that's, you got to wrap everything up over those 15 years.
Yeah,
in 5 chapters.
Yeah, how are you going to manage that?
And that's why I always feel so sour about it. But Sengoku Youko just finishes, and I'm just like, I read the last chapter, I was like, oh, that was just right nice.
Yeah.
Like, I just really enjoyed the ride all the way through.
Which is great. You don't really get that very often, do you?
Yeah, like it's got everything. It's got action, it's got adventure. But I mainly just really enjoy the characters, the way they all interact with each other.
Yeah.
Like,
that sounds good. And the art is incredible as well.
The art is really good. Like, really unique style.
Very angular-y. And like when you look at it, it looks like it's almost entirely drawn out of straight lines, which is like really weird.
It is strange,
Yeah, but like the guy also uses like really interesting highlights, and like I was looking at it, I've not read it, but you've recommended it to me so many times that I thought you would talk about it, so I looked into it.
Yeah, it is really good.
It looks incredible.
Highly recommend it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's just one of those just well thought out, like.
Is that the one where you said to me like the main character changes like just a shitload? You said like the growth in the main character is a lot.
Yeah, well, like in pretty much all the characters.
Really?
Like they all just sort of grow and mature throughout of it, and it's just really nice. Like, because the starting main character, sort of gets sealed away at one point, and then the main character changes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Has 2 main characters.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Because they sort of, not going to talk too much, but like they were like, when they're trying to get the main character out of the sort of bind that he's in.
Yeah.
And the second main character, they're like, oh, you can do it, but when you do it, it might end the world. So they're trying to sort of figure out how they can do it without fucking everything up.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, it's really good. It gets a bit more like action-packed in the second one because it's of the stakes that are involved.
Like it's ramping up.
It ramps up a lot, and then it settles back down at the end, and it's just sort of nice. Yeah, I just really enjoy it. Really
okay. Oh damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm all about that. I will definitely check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's cool.
So we got room for one more?
I'll give you one more. One more. I gotta do it.
Go on.
Well, no, actually. Eggia, just read it.
Eggia, just read it.
Read it. I won't talk about it, because I've spoken about it enough. Eggia is incredible. The artist is gorgeous. It's a bit ecchi, but boobs. Yeah. It's all right. Deadman Wonderland.
Deadman Wonderland. Yeah.
Is fucking incredible.
Has an anime on Netflix.
It has an anime on Netflix, but the manga is also super good.
Yeah, I read the manga. It was really good.
Deadman Wonderland was one of them ones where I read it before I knew you could get it online.
Yeah.
And I used to buy manga based on I'm going to stand in this bookshop. I'm going to pick them based on the covers or what it says on the back. Mm-hmm. And I'll read the first 20, 30 pages. And if I like it, then I'll buy it. So it sort of had to have a hook to draw me in at the very beginning. Same reason I read Dragon Drive, which I just couldn't find forever. I bought the first volume and then they just fucking burned all the volumes on the planet. And I hadn't seen it since. Deadman Wonderland is one of them ones where they have
it's a strong start, isn't it?
It's a strong starter. And then I really liked the main character. I liked the villain. I liked what happens. The superpowers are all really cool. The setting's really good. The twist later on is sort of
it's very unique.
Very unique, yeah. And all of the powers are based on blood.
Yeah.
So they have to basically balance their blood powers versus just
how much blood is in their body.
Yeah. Versus being anemic and losing all the blood in your body. Yeah. Which adds a really interesting tilt on it because you can't use your superpower too much, otherwise you're gonna die from blood loss.
Yeah.
I just think that it's just an incredible manga, and I would definitely recommend people check it out. Even if it's just the first volume, read the first 5 to 10 chapters and see what you think. But Deadman Wonderland is just chef's kiss. Very chef's kiss. So yeah. Should we wrap that up? We could definitely do another episode on this.
I could fit a few more in.
Yeah, I've got a lot more that I could talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's wrap things up, eh?
Yeah. Thanks again for the watch party.
Yeah.
And thank just anyone that's watching, appreciate it. Please help us out and give us a like or a comment or a subscribe or anything. I don't know. Tell us we're dickheads on TikTok. That's great.
Yeah.
Or on YouTube. I'm always open for any form of criticism.
Thanks for tuning in. I really did.
Yeah. I don't have any hot takes this week. It's been a pretty good week all around, to be honest.
Yeah. Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, I've had a good week. So, thanks everybody for listening.
Yeah, and we'll catch you next time.
We will catch you next time. So, bye.
Bye.